Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be extremely similar to one that I've done in the past, in which we basically went over 4 building exercises that are good for getting you guys acquainted to building, getting your consistency down, all that good stuff. So in this video, it's going to be very similar to that, in that we're going over 3 more build exercises / retakes that I specifically like to use in zone wars, mainly because they confuse your opponent. They are not something that you see the average player doing, and so if you can accomplish these, which I promise you, it is more simple than it looks. If you can do this consistently, what you're going to see and what you're going to find is that your opponents actually mess up, and it's basically like a fear factor, right? They're not used to this, and so you catch them off guard by hitting them with something that looks as sweaty as what I'm about to show you, and then all of a sudden you have that high ground gap, you crank some 90s, and boom, you got high ground, you have a more likely chance to win the match. So with that said, that's exactly what I want to show you guys, and if my voice sounds a little dull or rusty, it's because I am sick. I am unfortunately not feeling the best, but again, I don't want to miss these weekly uploads that I promised you guys, so here I am today, making sure that I get this done for you. So with that said, let's get right into it. So what we're going to do here is just create some overhead cover for us. If you don't know, an easy tip, if you're ever like going out like this and for whatever reason this didn't connect, just simply put a flat above your head and look up, and boom, you have overhead cover. It's that simple. You don't need to attach it in some fancy way. You can literally just put a flat above your head and edit through, and there you go. So to start our first building exercise, what we're going to do is put 2 cones in this fashion, right? When we do this, just so you can see a good visual, you have the 2 cones, right? 2 cones, 2 lanes, basically, one above your head and one that you're standing on. When we do this, we're then going to attach 2 ramps to these cones. And so again, looks something like this. You don't usually see this in a normal Zone Wars game, so already it's looking a little sweaty. And again, what we've done is not hard. We've put 2 cones and 2 ramps. That's literally it. So again, now after we do this, we're going to attach a flat and another ramp to this last ramp, right? Once we do that, we're going to edit through like so, put another ramp, 2 more cones, and so again, it's looking sweatier than it actually is, right? If you know what's going on, oh, that's nice. If you know what's going on, it's just gonna make this stuff so easy. So again, ramp, cone, cone, and you have 2 options. Oh, you have 3 options here, really, or you had 3. I guess it's 2 now. We'll just stick with this option, right, to make it simple. 2 cones here. Edit through this last cone. When you do so, make sure that you have hit this other cone, because if you haven't placed this cone, then this one's gonna break, right? So I'll demonstrate that right now. It breaks, right? So you have to make sure that you put both of these cones there. If your plan is to edit this cone, right? You do that, which is our plan right now. We're gonna place 2 more cones, do that same exact thing again, and then at this point, we're going to jump to the side to mix it up and do this little formation here. Now at this point, if you do not hear or see your opponent, I would just simply crank 90s, right? Just get that high ground, and that's the kind of the rule of thumb that we're always looking for in doing all these sweaty build moves, is as soon as you get that opportunity, as soon as your opponent gives you that opportunity, which is created by doing all this stuff, once it gives you the opportunity to take high ground, take it. Don't do any more sweaty build exercises, just get to a point where you can do 90s and crank him. So again, if you don't hear or see him, crank 90s. If you do hear or see him, then what you're going to want to do is cover yourself. The way I like to do that is by building, if you've seen the other video, you've seen this move, but basically you do 4 walls and then a flat and a cone. Cone is the last piece that you place, so right, it's flat cone, and then from here you have a few options, right? You could do what I showed you in the other video, which is basically you do this first one, then what you're going to do is put a wall and a ramp, jump up and do it again. You'll actually land on a flat here, and then you'll go in a new direction, right? You can go in that direction, or you can go in this direction, whatever you want to do. So there's a few ways that you can branch off, and you can be creative with that aspect of it. But to stick to the build routine, what we'll do is we'll build this, and then we'll actually go this way just to mix it up. So now we'll get into the more advanced option here, right? What we did is we just put those 2 cones there, right? And then we just like that. And that's not a bad thing to do at all. It looks sweaty, as you can see, which is a good thing to have. What we'll do instead, though, is we'll still place those first 2 cones, but instead of going immediately into our ramp and flat, we'll edit this one, and then we'll do it. The reason is because your opponent's not going to expect you to edit this cone and continue going that direction. It's just not a normal thing that people do, and so it just makes it look that much more sweaty. So I do recommend implementing that. It's not hard to get down, and it's just, again, a worthy investment to learn. So instead of editing through this way and then building what you see here, Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to edit like this and put a ramp, flat ramp, edit through this one, and continue in this direction. So this is the 3 moves that just to recap, I've shown you 3 moves, right? You have the one in which you go through this pattern, you edit through, you can jump to the side like this. Another move is you do that same sort of thing, except when you edit through this, you edit again, and you continue going like that, right? And just like that. The other move is to basically go like this, and you go in that direction. Hopefully you don't mess up that edit like I did, and you go on like that. So those are the 3 exercises. Now keep in mind that you don't have to go to the right like I've been doing in the entire tutorial. You can actually go to the left, something like this. I went to the right again just by habit. And again, like, you can do different things with this, right? You don't have to like be stuck to the same formula. This one, I attached the ramp this way instead of that way, right? I mean, I can do that on the right too, just so it's more consistent for you guys. But I could do it like this. That bottom ramp, I can attach it the other way and go in this direction. So do not be limited. Don't think that there's like a specific formula that you have to follow, right? You can do different things. And so that is what I kind of want to get across to you guys. Now, some common mistakes that you'll see in doing these routines is, first off, the first one that you'll see is you might get to here, you might not hit this edit, and that's really unfortunate. What I would do in this case is go ahead and take your time, edit through that, and immediately put your your overhead cover. If he is like dropping down on you, then turn around and box yourself in or something. But if you do have the time, I would just go and edit that. Continue on with the path. Now the next mistake you might see is you'll grab this edit instead of the cone. And so what happens here is you go to edit this and you're like, nothing's editing because you're holding the ramp. In this situation, I would not recommend editing through here because it's kind of like a given. That's what you're probably going to do. What I would do instead, and to make it quicker, is after you get yourself out of this, I would back up and go ahead and jump to the side like so, and immediately cover yourself, because if you don't, I mean, what you've done here by pausing yourself is giving your opponent enough time to gather his surroundings and possibly make a shot on you. So I would definitely recommend covering yourself no matter what, even if you don't hear him, because he might literally just be standing completely still waiting for you. And so yeah, always put cover just like so. Another common mistake you'll see people make is when they go to edit, like let's say that our move right here is requiring this, and then we'll go on like so. What they'll do is they'll like shoot this way, right? But they'll shoot it and it'll be like that, and so they actually don't end up hitting that second square. And so at this point, my immediate response is to turn around, put a wall here, and play with the wall and the flats, right? So I jump, I have wall, flat, flat, and then I can go in this direction or I can go in this direction, whatever I need to do. And then I just immediately try to get into this routine again, just doing something like that. This is, I'm glad that I actually did that. This is the other issue that you might run into, and that is you don't put a ramp above your head before you start putting cones down. If you do that, you'll hit yourself like this, and it is probably the most annoying thing in the game. But the reason it's happening is because obviously you're not allowing yourself enough time to put the ramp down. So in this case, I would just slow down your movements and focus on what you're doing. I make this mistake all the time. It's a common mistake, so don't worry if you're doing it. If it does happen to you, I would grab, like, let's say you're in here, right? I grab the cone, look straight down, and just hit like this. Not straight down, but like at an angle, I would say, and you can easily hit both of those. And then obviously you can go on and continue your thing. See, once again, I just did it right there. That was not on purpose. I messed up just like that. Now in terms of the last build exercise, mistakes that you'll see with that one is instead of editing 2 squares and continuing going, they'll accidentally edit 3. And so let's say you edit it this way, that's fine. You'll actually, your ramp will stay there. That's because the ramp is connecting to this piece. You have to remember that, right? Now if you accidentally grab these 2 and then you'll go too far here, then what you're going to see is that the ramp breaks and you'll fall to your death. So I would be very cautious in doing this one, especially in Zone Wars, a game where if you fall, you die. So yeah, just be cautious with that. So with that said, guys, hopefully that was informative and helped you guys out. Definitely implement this into Zone Wars. Let me know how it goes. And if you want more explanation, leave it down below in the comments. Leave your questions there and I will be happy to get back to you. Hopefully I start feeling better soon, because this is really annoying, to be honest. Lots of drainage and whatnot, even a fever yesterday. So we will be back soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.